Why has the recent US-India-Iran deal sparked controversy and warnings of sanctions? This contentious pact among India, Iran and the US, entangled in strategic and geopolitical motives, has led to US threats of sanctions due to a significant agreement between India and Iran. To understand this, need to delve into the history and key moments of the India-Iran Chabahar deal. The story begins in May 2016 when India and Iran signed a bilateral agreement. This marked the start of what we now know as the Chabahar deal. A masterstroke of diplomacy, the deal was driven by two primary motivations. For India, it was about securing a strategic foothold in the region. The Chabahar port, located in southeastern Iran, offered India a direct and viable route to Afghanistan bypassing Pakistan. This would enable India to increase its trade with Afghanistan and Central Asia, strengthening its geopolitical influence. On the other hand, Iran had its economic ambitions. Amidst crippling sanctions and international isolation, the Chabahar deal offered Iran a lifeline. By opening up the Chabahar port to India, Iran hoped to attract investment and stimulate its struggling economy. The deal was also seen as a way for Iran to diversify its alliances, reducing its dependence on the West. But the Chabahar deal was not just about India and Iran. Its geopolitical significance extended far beyond these two countries. The port's strategic location on the Gulf of Oman, at the mouth of the Strait of Hormuz, put it at the heart of some of the world's most critical trade routes. This, coupled with the potential for the port to become a hub for trade between South Asia, Central Asia and the Middle East, made the Chabahar deal a game-changer in the region. As the deal progressed, it started drawing international attention, particularly from the United States. Fast forward to 2024, the US warns India of potential sanctions over its dealings with Iran. The tension is palpable, and at the heart of it is the United States' stance on Iran's nuclear program. The US maintains a firm belief that the program is not just about energy production, but has more ominous intentions. The Chabahar deal, in the US's perspective, could potentially undermine their efforts to contain Iran's nuclear ambitions. The US has always used sanctions as a strategic tool in its foreign policy. The idea is to apply economic pressure on countries to change their behavior or policies. In this case, the US is trying to curb Iran's nuclear program, and the sanctions serve as a warning to other nations that might be considering dealings with Iran. It's not the first time the US has issued such warnings. Back in 2022, the Biden administration imposed new sanctions on entities involved in evading sanctions on Iranian oil and petrochemicals. The sanctions were not just a punitive measure, but a deterrent, a clear signal to the world that the US is serious about its stance on Iran. The US's warning to India is not just about the Chabahar deal. It's a reflection of the larger geopolitical dynamics at play. The world is becoming increasingly polarized and alliances are shifting. Remember Iran's move to align itself with Russia and China by signing a memorandum to join the Shanghai Cooperation Organization? This was a clear indication of Iran's efforts to reduce dependence on the West, particularly in response to US sanctions and isolation. The US, on the other hand, is trying to maintain its influence and control. The warning to India is a part of this larger strategy. It's a message to the world that the US will not hesitate to use its economic power to protect its interests. As the US threatens to impose sanctions, the future of the Chabahar deal hangs in the balance. The coming days will reveal whether India will bow to the pressure or stand its ground. But one thing is clear. The implications of this standoff will echo far beyond the confines of the Chabahar deal. What lies ahead for the Chabahar deal and the involved parties? This question looms large as we delve into the potential consequences of the US warning. Let's begin with the impact on India-Iran relations. The Chabahar deal is a cornerstone of the bilateral partnership, fostering economic ties and strategic cooperation. If sanctions are imposed, this relationship could face significant strain. India may have to reconsider its commitment to Iran, which would be a major setback for both nations. Moving on to Iran's economy, the consequences could be severe. The nation is already grappling with the effects of existing sanctions, and any additional measures could further restrict its access to global markets. This could exacerbate economic hardships and potentially lead to social unrest within the country. But the implications extend beyond Iran's borders. The geopolitical dynamics of the region could be drastically altered. Iran, feeling cornered, might seek closer alliances with Russia and China. As we've seen with its recent steps towards joining the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, This could shift the balance of power in the region, leading to increased polarization and escalating tensions. Finally, let's consider the potential repercussions for the US's relations with India. The threat of sanctions places the US in a precarious position. India is a key strategic partner in the Indo-Pacific region, and a strained relationship could undermine US interests. The situation calls for delicate diplomacy, balancing the enforcement of sanctions policy with the preservation of a crucial alliance. These possible consequences paint a complex picture, one filled with uncertainty and high stakes. The decisions made by the involved parties in the coming months will undoubtedly shape the future of the region and potentially the world. As we monitor the unfolding situation, one thing remains clear: the outcome of this controversy will have far-reaching implications. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the Chabahar deal and its potential implications. This is a fluid situation, and we'll continue to bring you the latest updates and insights. If you found this video informative and want to stay updated on this and other geopolitical developments, we encourage you to hit the subscribe button and join our community of curious minds. Your time and interest are greatly appreciated. Until next time, stay informed, stay curious, and keep questioning the world around you.